All right. Like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. Yahweh Shai. The name of this one is The Wicked Have Always Had That Blessing. And pretty much this title and lesson comes to the inspiration of a video I was watching probably about an hour ago that Elder Pastor put up. It wasn't this here, just bear with me 1 second. This was in rotation, and he went into something called the term wicked, and I don't remember exactly what it was he said. I don't know. I think it was like towards the middle or maybe towards the end of the video. But I can't really remember exactly what it was that he said that triggered, that thought for this title for the lesson. The wicked have always had that blessing. And pretty much, I've been pretty much waiting all day for a lesson, something to go into. Usually I like to go live early if the spirit allows, because it feels, to me, I just judging it, I think the spirit works with me better, earlier in the day, but I mean, that's just, me, assessing the situation of my own. But, nevertheless, Barakatah Bashim Shai gave me a lesson to go into. And, like I said, it's based off of this video here. And as I was putting the lesson together, Elder Pastor had called me. Because, what was it, last night, at the Ponderosa, we were watching some videos, and one of the videos we were watching was a video of Sarnetta out there in Chicago, and pretty much he said that Captain Tazariak and the whole ISUPK took the jab, they got hit with the baby sword, and although a lot of, ISUPK members took it, I don't know the number, it doesn't matter. But Captain Tazariak didn't take it, so that was a lie on Sarnetta's part, where he said that Captain Tazariak got hit with the baby sword and he didn't. And Pastor Tar told me the video to go to, and it's right here. Garfield runs up on ISUPK and interviewed the Captain Tazariak and Kataza. So I'm gonna play, a little part of it so you can see from the horse's mouth that he didn't take. He didn't get hit with the baby sword. So let's just listen to it real quick, and then we can get into the lesson.
She did? Okay, cause I ain't gonna say what I'm about to say then. I'm gonna leave that alone. But hey, I want to say peace and love to you guys, man. Much love and respect. Yeah, man. All right. Hey, listen.
You took a vaccine shot?
I didn't take it yet. I'm about to take it probably Monday. Monday.
If you want to take it, you take it. If you don't,
Hold on. Did you take the shot?
No.
All right. So you had people at ISUPK taking the shot?
Yes, we have a lot of people that have taken. Again, when Commander Jenny Hunter said take the shot, it's to take away the fear, because everybody says don't.
So you heard him say it from his own mouth. He didn't take the shot. So Sarnetta said last night that he did take it, so that's a lie. He didn't take it. Anyway, moving on. Dealing with this video the Elder Pastor put up, gave me the idea to do, or have the name of the title is The Wicked Have Always Had That Blessing. And the blessing that we're speaking about, of course, is the sword. And we're going to go through some precepts and show you that ever since that spirit, that demonic spirit, the physical counterpart spirit of the spiritual demon Satan came upon the earth, they've always had the same blessing, and they've been using that blessing from the beginning of time. So before we get started, let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 13 to prove to you that Satan has children on the planet earth. Matthew 13:38, it says, the field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, which is or are the Israelites, but the tares are the children of the wicked one, meaning the Edomites. So Esau are the sons, or the Edomites are the sons and daughters of the uh, spiritual demon Satan. All right, and they are also identified as the wicked in the book of Malachi, the first chapter, in the 4th verse. It says, "Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people, not the man, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever." All right, so they are the border of wickedness. So they are the wicked, and the Most High created them to be so, and the Most High created them to be destroyed. You know, because when the time comes, Yahweh Bashim Shai will destroy them. They will serve their captivity, and after they serve their hardcore slavery for a period of 1,000 years, they will be sent into oblivion as far as their flesh is concerned. All right. So, getting into the lesson, what I want to do is I want to start off in the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter. We're going to start in the 1st verse, read a couple of verses, and we're going to jump around a little bit and prove to you that ever since the wicked as a people, because you have wicked among all different nations, you have wicked among Jacob. Scripture say, "Among my people I found wicked men." But the people that represent the wicked are the Edomites, which today you would know as so-called white people or so-called Caucasians. Oh, and by the way, in this lesson here, or in this interview here, you had a lot of people in here saying that Captain Kataza, which is this brother here, is an Edomite. He's an Eastern European. He's not an Edomite. He's not an Eastern European. He's an Israelite of the tribe of Ephraim. Or he might be Judah, depending on his lineage. But he's an Israelite, all right? He just looks like an Edomite, but he's an Israelite. And you have a lot of people saying that he's an Edomite, he's an Eastern European, he's a white person, he's a Caucasian. ISUPK and the Hebrews, they love white people, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. He's not a white boy, he's an Israelite. So get over yourself. Genesis 4:1. "And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord." And this is why it's important to look up the definition of words. It's good to look up the meaning of names, because they give you a broader understanding, you know, into what the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai wrote down in the scriptures by the hand of his servants, the prophets. Because when you look up this word Cain, right, and you go to the Hebrew of the word Cain itself, you have the Hebrew word Kwayan. It's Kwa, Ya, and the final land Na, because this is the Aramean. Kwayan, Kwayan. Now, what does Kwayan mean? It does not mean possession. It does not mean smiths, although you can kind of say that that's what it means. But the word Kwayan itself, let's see if they have, what do they have here for it? Right, the word Kwayan here means spear. So the word Kwayan or Cain, it says a lance, spear. The word as striking fast. The word Cain or Kwayan, as the Elder Apostle Torah uses the term, loosely translated, means a stabbing weapon. And that's exactly what Cain means, or Kwayan. It means a stabbing weapon. And why was Cain called that? Because he would be the one that would smite down his brother Abel to the ground and kill him. He was the first murderer. All right? And this is something that has followed this spirit no matter what people he's in. Because remember, the sons of the wicked are found in the book of Genesis, the 4th chapter, as we're reading. You have Cain, and then Cain had sons, and they had sons, and so on and so forth. That was the lineage of the wicked, of the wicked. Because remember, you have wicked among all nations. And when the flood came and destroyed them, what happened? The flood came, destroyed them, and there were only 8 souls left. 4 men, 4 women. You had Noah, you had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And out of those 3 sons of Noah, the whole earth was repopulated again. And the wicked this time came through the line of Shem all the way down to Isaac, which had Jacob and Esau. And Jacob represented the Israelites, which is the righteous, and Esau represented the Edomites, which were the wicked, or which are the wicked. And the scriptures say that there would be two manner of people that will be separated from Rebekah's womb, from her bowels. All right. So that's where the lineage again of the wicked started to spread abroad on the earth, was through the Edomites. And we just identified that the Edomites are the wicked, are the sons of the wicked. We identified in Matthew 13 that the spiritual demon Satan has children on the earth, which are the Edomites. All right. So let's read that again. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, or Quayan, which is stabbing weapon. And because this was a nomen omen of what he would do in the future, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. Now the word Abel, or the name Abel, comes from the Hebrew word Habal. I'll show it to you. Habal. And it does not break down what the word Habal means. Ha-ba-la, which is Habal. It doesn't break down what the word Habal means. And the word Habal simply means, well, you could say breath. Breath is good, but it really means transitory, because a breath is what? When it's cold outside and you breathe, you see you see the smoke or the steam from your words, or from your mouth, or from when you blow out. And that steam, what happens? It disappears. So you could say breath, but it's, but to get it to understand a little bit better, the word is transitory, like transit, here for a minute and go on the next. And that is a perfect name as an omen nomen, which is a Latin term for name prediction, that Abel would be here for a moment and then he would be gone. So it says, and she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So now what we're going to do, since we broke down the two children's name, Cain, Quayan, stabbing weapon, Abel, Habal, transitory or breath. Now we're going to jump down to the 8th verse, which is dealing with after the Lord rejected Cain's offering and accepted Abel's. Cain was jealous. And what did Cain do? Well, let's read it. And Cain, or Quayan, talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. You see? Now, how did he slay him? It doesn't really say, go into detail, but based off of his name and the meaning of the name, Cain, Quayan, stabbing weapon, it makes sense that he actually stabbed him. It doesn't say that he did that, but his name predicts what he would be, just like Abel predicted that he would be transitory. He would be here for a moment and gone. It says, and the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Yeah, because the blood he shed his brother's blood without compassion. You see? So that's why his name is called Cain, or Quayan, which this is the beginning of the blessing of the wicked. Okay? Now back then, when Cain was on the scene back then, Quayan was on the scene, he was actually a man of color. He actually had brown pigmentation until the Lord stripped it from him. Reading on, it says, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. See? And the earth has been cursed from the beginning. It says, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. And that's why Esau today, which are not physical descendants, because the Cainites, not the Canaanites, the Cainites, which came from Cain, were destroyed in the flood. But that spirit came through a so-called black man and a black woman named Isaac and Rebekah, and they had two children. One was named Jacob, and the other one was named Esau. And that spirit of Cain came through the Edomites. Okay, and we'll see the correlation between Cain and Esau when we find out about the blessing. Then it goes on to say about Cain, It says a fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. Now, what is a fugitive? A fugitive is one that flees from justice. To this day, these devils, just dealing with America alone, to this day, these devils have not paid for the atrocities that they committed against the so-called Native American Indian tribes of this side of the world, all from Canada all the way down to South America, and the atrocities that they've committed against the so-called Negro tribes, which was the southern kingdom of the nation of Israel. They haven't paid for that. They're still fugitives from justice. Now, when we look up the word fugitive, right? Let's look up the word fugitive real quick. The word fugitive is a person who has escaped from a place or is in hiding, especially to avoid arrest or persecution. So in other words, they're fleeing from what? From having to pay for their crimes. And this fits the Edomites, so-called white men. Then it goes on to say, it says, a fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be what? In the earth. So all over the place, all over the earth, there would be fugitives, fleeing from justice, and a vagabond. Now, what is a vagabond? Let's type that in. Get out of here, scum, faggot, vagabond. Inside joke. A vagabond. A person who wanders from place to place without a home or job. And when you read the history here, in Genesis, the 4th chapter, after the Lord cursed Cain, what did he do? Cain fled into the land of Nod, which it wasn't an actual land, because the word Nod, or the name Nod, goes back to the Hebrew word Nawad, which means wanderer, because they wandered off from that area, okay, until the Lord destroyed them. But now that's Esau all over again. Let's go real quick to the book of, I believe that's Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, which are his philosophies, he is a proud man, and that's Esau, neither keepeth at home. So they don't keep at home. They're constantly wandering about. They're constantly a vagabond in the earth. This is why you have all different types of military bases all over the place. This is why you have, Esau in everybody's business on the planet Earth, telling them how to operate their governments, and how to use their resources and how to guide their people in all of this. Because they are those vagabonds that do not keep at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations. And this doesn't fit anybody else but the Edomites. And heapeth unto him all people. Now, I believe there's one in Psalm 73. Just bear with me right quick. Right. Psalm 73:9. They set their mouth against the heavens, because they speak against the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, his son, Yahweh Shai, against the angels. Right. And their tongue walketh through the earth. And what do they do when their tongue walks through the earth? Pretty much they're taking over everything. They're giving certain decrees out to certain countries that they can't do this, that they can't do that, and pretty much put them in a quagmire. And then what happens? America ends up taking over their lands, resources, and the people. It says, therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. Yeah. And this is why the rich keep getting richer, because they take every little bit. They're parasites. They're pretty much parasites, beginning with the Amalekites, and which are those international banking families. All right. Now let's go back. It says, a fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And we see that these devils are fleeing from justice. They never pay for justice. And when you read down about Cain and his punishment, the Lord said that 7 times will be had on anyone that takes vengeance on them, in so many words. And whenever Jake or anyone does anything to an Edomite, they get the 3rd degree thrown at them. They get thrown under the jail. You see, But then whenever they do something, they just get a slap on the wrist or they just get let go free. Because that's true to the prophecy, that there will be a vagabond, a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. All right, it says, and Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. So now, Lord's will, we're going to come back to the 14th verse, but I want to jump down to the 22nd verse, because this is a very important verse here, and this is the descendants of Cain, which later would be known as the Edomites. It says, and Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. Now, the thing with Tubal Cain, which ties in with the fugitive and a vagabond, when you look at the name Tubal Cain, is Thawabal Quayan, and we already identified that Quayan, which is spear or a weapon, stabbing weapon, and the word Thawabal, or Tubal. Let's see if they have it here. To bring, lead, carry, conduct, bear along. To bear along, bring, to carry away, lead away, to lead, conduct, to be borne along. So pretty much the word Tubal Cain means traveling weapon. You know, as the Elder Pastor's term he uses loosely translated. So Tubal Cain or Thawabal Quayan means traveling weapon. So now what comes to mind when you think of a traveling weapon? An individual that has a traveling weapon. You should think of the term mercenary. What is a mercenary? A mercenary is of a person or their behavior primarily concerned with making money at the expense of ethics, which is good, but this is the point. A professional soldier hired to serve in a foreign army. And this is pretty much what they are. They go throughout the earth and they're mercenaries. They have something called economic hitmen. Economic hitmen go around the earth making deals with leaders of certain countries monetarily to get them to sell their people out and their lands and their resources. And if they don't bite with the money thing, then they actually send in the real hitmen. You see? And they'll make up some cockamamie story, put out some false flag report, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're at war with this particular country because of so-and-so and such and such. You see? Because it's all about taking those people's resources. All right? So that's the word Tubal Cain, which is traveling weapon. That's why it's important to know these names, you know, and it's important to understand certain definitions of words, because it gives you a broader understanding of what it's speaking about. Now, we know that these descendants of Cain, which are the wicked, were destroyed during the flood. And they came back during the time of Genesis 25 in a child by the name of Esau, whose name was later changed to Edom, which goes to the Hebrew word Adawam, which means red. And they are the real original red people. And in process of time, when the children grew up, his brother Jacob supplanted him for his blessing. He also supplanted it for his birthright. And when I was about to say Cain, and when Esau came to his father Jacob for his blessing, Isaac didn't have any more blessings for him, but what he did give him was this as a blessing. Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Because really, when you go into the history of when the two children were born, the blessing and the birthright was supposed to go to Jacob anyway. You see? That's why it was set up that way, for Jacob to get that blessing and the birthright from Esau. So it says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Now look at the earth today. Who has the best parts of the earth? You know, the scriptures say the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They have the best parts of the earth. The scriptures say in Psalm 73, as we were reading earlier, they have more than heart could wish. It says, these are the ungodly that prosper in the world. Who does that fit? That doesn't fit any other nation but the so-called white people. So the blessing, that blessing was given to who? To the Edomites, to Esau and his descendants. It says, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. So everything that they want, they have. Now you have those that are lower down the totem pole that don't have those benefits. But the higher ups, the so-called international banking families, the super rich, which are Edomites, they have everything. They just ain't sharing with the other Edomites, but they have the whole world. You know, it says, and of the dew from above, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live. You tell me that this devil does not live by the sword. Matter of fact, just came to mind how brothers, I believe it was Elder Yashawamba, and I'm pretty sure a few other brothers have said the same thing, that out of the so many years that America has been in power, they've been at war more times or more years than they've been at peace. I forget the exact date. If brothers know exactly what it is, if they could the comment board, I'll run it, I'll read it off the comment board, but the majority of time that since the inception of America, they've been more times at war than they've been at peace. Why? Because the blessing was for them to have the sword, and that by their sword they were going to live by that sword. And the scriptures say that they will have the dwelling and the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, because this is how you will get these things. You will get them by force. And that force was what? The sword. And that's how they got the majority of the everything that they have. So now, let's go from there to the book of Psalms 17. And like I said, if brothers know the exact time period, I know it was 200 and something out of the 200 or whatever many years, the majority of those years were spent at war, which goes hand in hand with the prophecy of the sword. And when you go back in time, here we go. Number one, America has been, America has been at war 93% of the time, 222 out of 239 years since 1776. An example, the U.S. has only been at peace for less than 20 years total since its birth. I wanted to check, get a better understanding and look at other countries in the world. Yeah, but you know what? All these other countries in the world, they have you have a lot of Edomites ruling over there too. But America is important because America is the capital of the Edomites. This is Basra. This is Idumea. So this is really where that the importance of prophecy will take place anyway. So Psalm 73 and verse 8 says, keep me as an apple of the eye. It says, hide me under the shadow of thy wings. Yeah, because the Lord has to be our protection from the wicked that oppress me. And this is what they do. They oppress. Everything that they do, they oppress. They have the whole world oppressed. This is why it says when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. The world as a whole is in mourning. The people that are rejoicing are only a handful compared to the rest of the world. So by process of elimination, again, the people that are ruling, especially the international banking families, they are the wicked. And the Bible identifies the Edomites as the wicked. So they are also the Edomites. It says, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. Why? Because the Lord gave them the blessing of the sword, and they use it. Does not it say in Romans 13 that they don't bear the sword in vain? So it says they are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. Yeah, enclosed in their own fat mean that they have everything. They have want for nothing. Do you think that these devils go a day without eating? I gotta wait for my check to come in. They haven't mailed my check out, so I can't eat today until I get my check and cash it. You think they go a day being hungry? Are you crazy? It says, they have compassed us in our steps. It says, they have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. Yeah, they have compassed us in our steps, because everything that we do, we can't get ahead. You know, they're always there, you know, one way or another, you know, putting hell upon us. And then this part here, they have set their eyes bowing down to the earth, because they have control over everything. You know? And it's like they're in a lofty position looking down, because they have everything, you know. And also now that they have this technology, they have the satellites, and the satellites got their eyes all over the planet Earth, looking at people and watching people, you know, whatever they're doing. All right. So let's move on. It says, like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, because only the Lord can disappoint him. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? The Lord is the one that's going to lead us into Edom. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which are the Edomites, which is thy sword. And they are the sword of the Lord. They are the ones that the Lord used to bring forth this correction, judgment on the planet. It says, from men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life. Yeah, because that was a blessing that was given to them. By the sword they were going to live. And whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. And this is why their wealth stays amongst them. They don't introduce other nations or other peoples into their inheritance. They keep it in the family. All right. Now let's go from there to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, just building on that sword. Revelation 6 and 4, it says, and there went out another horse that was red. Now a horse is a representation of power. Red because they are scarlet colored beasts. They are red. They're the Edomites. You know, the Edomites are red. You know, the scarlet colored beast, you know, so on and so forth. And power was given him, because they were given that power. They have it in the power of their hand to do these things. That's why it says, let's go real quick to the book of Micah, chapter 2 and 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, meaning they put it into use, because it is in the power of their hand. So they have that power to do it. So it says, and there went on another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And they have taken peace from the earth. This is why it says that when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn, because the earth is not at peace. Why do you think people are complaining and crying? They have the power to do this. And what do? They bring on more misery upon the people. They bring on more hell upon the people. Take the little bit of money that the people have and put it in their pockets. You know? Within this last year, like Elder Pastor brought out, he said billionaires became trillionaires. Within the first couple of months of this whole shutdown and lockdown of the world, they quadrupled their money off of the misery of people. Come on, man. They're the wicked, man. And that's where they got to go. It says, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him what? A great sword. And this great sword is a representation of destruction. You know, they actually used the sword. You know, then they had the guns, you know, the machine guns, Gatling guns. Then you had tanks, missiles, you know, and ultimately the nuclear missile. So this is the great sword that they were given. And with that sword, they took peace from the earth. This is why the so-called American government or American military has military bases all throughout the world. And there are many more than what they're saying. We're only seeing the ones that are on record. We're not seeing the ones that are in clandestine places on the planet Earth. And if you don't know what the word clandestine is, look it up. All right. Now let's go from there to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Now, that's not talking about the actual Mount Seir. A mountain is a representation of government. So this is talking about the government of Seir, or the government of Esau, which their headquarters is where? Here in America. This is why in Isaiah 13:2, it says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What is that high mountain? This high mountain is America. Babylon the Great, Mount Seir, Basra. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the noble. So we're supposed to curse them out. And this is what the Lord is telling Ezekiel to do. So this was a future prophecy, concerning America. And prophesy against it, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And this is not talking about the actual land of Esau, because the actual land of Esau, we're going to, Judah and Benjamin, mainly Judah, are going to be the ones that's going to inherit it. All right, let's go real quick to the book of Obadiah, verse 19. It says, and they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau. See? And they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And then when you go to the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, and the 12th verse, it says that they may possess the remnant of Edom, which is dealing with the people, but it's mainly dealing with the land. And of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. So the land of Esau is going to be inhabited or taken over by Israel, mainly Judah and Benjamin. So this is not talking about the Lord making that land desolate, like he's going to make America desolate. This is talking about America, Babylon the Great, that will be most desolate. And the only thing that will be left here, you could read the book of, because this is dealing with Esau, you could read the book of Isaiah 34 to see what's going to happen and what's going to be dwelling here and living here after the destruction clears, after the missiles drop. There's going to be nothing but desert creatures, unclean animals, unclean birds, unclean reptiles that are going to be here in this land, inhabiting this land after the smoke clears. It says, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. So this is a future prophecy. Salakia. Salakia for that. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, see, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by what? By the force of the sword, because this is your blessing. In the time of their calamity, you go back to the time of the Babylonian Empire. That was one of the major times when you did this. And for that, you're going to have to pay. In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Yeah, because the Lord was about to transition Israel from governing themselves into the Babylonian Empire after the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem and all of that. But what did Esau do? He helped forward the affliction. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Said thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So the Lord said he's going to prepare you unto blood. Let's go real quick to Romans chapter 9 and 22. And it reads, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and make his power known, just like he did with Pharaoh, we read that above. It says, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Salaki for 1 minute. So the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction are the Edomites. You can read above that when it speaks about Jacob and Esau. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. What did the Lord, he made a one lump, a vessel of honor and another vessel unto dishonor. That's dealing with the Edomites, the vessel unto dishonor. And they were set up for the purpose of being destroyed. The vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. And that's what this is talking about. Ezekiel 35 and 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. If thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And this is why when Yahushua comes back, he's going to come and bring the vengeance. You know, that's why he says that Esau's blood is going to be sprinkled on his garments, which is not talking about the actual blood on his garments. It's talking about the what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to be credited with destroying the Edomites. All right. But then there's going to be stragglers, especially the international banking families, that are going to go right into captivity. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. That's talking about America, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy city shall not return, and you shall know that I am the Lord. So we notice it's not talking about the actual land, because Judah and Benjamin are going to possess those lands. This is code for America. It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, which you had both of the tribes, both of the kingdoms in captivity. And you also have the land in possession, as it tells you in the next chapter after. And we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will even do according to thine anger. It says, and according to thine envy, which thou has used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. So now let's go real quick to Ezekiel 25 and 12. And it says, Edom, thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, because they remembered all the history of what took place when Judah was in power. It says, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. So you revenge yourself upon our forefathers. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. Which is dealing, this is also code for America, because the land of Esau is going to be given as an inheritance to Judah and Benjamin. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. All right, so going back to Ezekiel 36 and 12, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, and that I have heard all thy blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Yeah, because you think that, because we're in the condition that we're in, we're going to stay in this condition. And you think that, basically you think shit is sweet, for lack of better words. You think that you are going to get away with it. The Lord said he's not going to acquit the wicked. Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. And you Sambos out there that sold Jake out and are selling Jake out, the Lord's going to get you too. Ezekiel 35 and 13. It says, thus with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith the Lord power, when the whole earth rejoices, I will make thee desolate, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate. So will I do unto thee, that thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord, because all of America is going to be destroyed. There's not going to be anything left of America. It's going to be 100% desert. All right? Just bear with me 1 second. All right. So now, let's go from there back to the book of Obadiah. We got a couple more verses and precepts, and then we're going to close out. Obadiah 1 and 10. All right, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Yeah, this is going back to the time when the Babylonians were taking us down, and you were helping the Babylonians destroy us. It says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Yeah, you opposed us and helped the Babylonians. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of thy people, of my people, in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity, dealing with when the Babylonians destroyed Jerusalem and took our forefathers captive. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of him that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. Now let's go from there to the book of Amos real quick. Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. It says, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword. See? So the wicked have always had that blessing, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon Teman. So this fire that's coming is going to be upon America, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. So all of America is going to be destroyed from one end to the other. All right. Read Isaiah 34. It gives you a blow by blow of what's going to take place. Now going back to Obadiah, we'll finish out here. Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been, because they are going to go into captivity. And when you're in slavery, you're a no people. You're a non-person. All right, you're just somebody's property. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So we're going to possess the possessions of these nations, especially Esau. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, that's the southern kingdom, and the house of Joseph a flame, that's the northern kingdom, and the house of Esau for stubble, because they're going to be the kindling wood. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And we read that in Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick again. Ezekiel 35 and verse 15. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it. And they shall know that I am the Lord. So the Lord is going to get you. Verse 19. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And really, mainly Judah is going to be the ones that's going to possess the land of Esau. And saviors, which are judges, shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Yeah, because you're going to be judged. You're going to have a send-off, or you're going to have a fiery send-off. All right? So pretty much that's it right there. The name of the lesson, like I said, was the wicked have always had that blessing that came through the inspiration of Yahweh Bashim Shai through this video that I watched the Elder Pastor do, the term the wicked. I don't remember exactly what point it was, maybe the middle or towards the end, something that he said triggered that thought in mind, which I was happy. Like I said, I've been waiting for a lesson, through the Spirit, and Barakateh Yahweh Bashim Shai for that. And also we covered how that Sanetta said that Tazariak took got hit with the baby sword, and pretty much you heard out of his own mouth that he didn't. He said he didn't. Now this video and this video are in the description box, so you could go there if you want, watch both of those videos and get more info on it for yourself. So with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. Until the next time, I say shalom.